Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT. Once again, coming to you live from our living rooms, where this afternoon I'm calling on all Chelsea fans to take a 20% reduction in their salary. Come on. It's not gold, but, you know, we're in lockdown, for goodness sake.
I like it. Coming up between now and 4.
That's not a good sign.
We'll look at what Premier League bigwigs are discussing in their most important meeting ever. ITV's Matt Chapman previews the virtual Grand National. And there's another Sporting Memories session as we go back to 1988 with Motti and Bobby Gould.
We'll take your calls, emails, texts and tweets, plus it's end of Chapter 1 in Steve Bruce's murder mystery novel Striker. And on this day in history, yesterday, we will feature a classic movie scene. We'll do that with Martin Kohler because it's right up his strata, that one.
Brilliant. There's all this, plus Friday regulars, Martin Kellner, as Paul mentioned there, Todd Macklin, the clips of the week, and Mike Ward with his pick of the weekend's TV.
That's right. That's all coming up. And it is 7 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy.
Afternoon, Paul. And start with the news that Wimbledon, they had the foresight, I don't know if you've seen this, they had the foresight to insure against infectious diseases, getting the tournament called off. So they're going for £100 million cancellation payout.
Wow.
But you can imagine if the insurance company or anything like the insurance companies I've ever dealt with, they'll be trying to wriggle out of it, won't they? They'll be saying, oh, well, when we said infectious diseases, we didn't mean that one. We meant COVID-18, not 19. I think you'll see, if you look at the small print, it's not quite there. Can you see that happening? Can you see the insurance company lumping out £100 million?
What a terribly cynical view of the insurance industry, Andy. I don't know where you get those kind of ideas from. Nothing, surely, from personal experience.
No, not
or indeed,
at all.
that of the listeners would tell you that they wouldn't just be immediately sending you a cheque within about 20 minutes for £100 million.
It's likely, is it, really?
The dog, that was just... Sorry, carry on, Andy. You carry on.
No, tell us about the dog first.
I was going to say it was a solo bark. It didn't turn into anything more than that. It was the breaking news before Ross gave us the news and sport. Dog barked. I think it was about the first time I've heard from her since I've been doing the show at home for a week and a bit. But it did strike me it might lead to some good tales of work interruptions, because this is unusual for us. You know, normally, strange years, broadcasters, we come from a studio. But like a lot of people at the moment, we are all coming from home. Even people on TV are doing this. But many of you out there are probably used to working from home. And there probably have been some top interruptions. Maybe you've been on a kind of conference call, or you've been in Vision doing stuff, and you've had little moments, or things have gone on while you've been working from home, and you've had to cover up and keep going. So let's have a few of those tales this afternoon. It's been happening to people even more regularly than usual. You can get in touch at TSH&J, TSHANDJ. Contact us at talksport.com. You can text to 81089, tweet TSH&J, call us on 08717 223344.
Yes, we're talking about embarrassing moments at home. Norwich, I don't know if you saw this, Norwich City star Tim Closer was left red-faced after being caught watching something called Pornhub. I'm not sure quite what it is.
Okay, he was left red-faced. Okay.
The Ace posted an Instagram update of him watching Netflix, but forgot to close down a tab from the porn site. One fan wrote, "Looks like Tim Close is enjoying lockdown." Well, fair enough for him.
Yeah.
And a similar, well, not really a similar thing.
I'm sure the Norwich boys won't give him any clog about that when they all meet up. I'm sure that will be forgotten by then. I'm sure the WhatsApp group has not been alive with materials. Let's put it that
Can you
way.
imagine?
Yeah.
And congratulations to Bernie Eccleston. He's going to be a dad at the age of 89. His first son, he's had 3 daughters. Now he's married to a woman who's 44. She's pregnant and going to have a son. I was thinking about him, 89. He's quite old to be a dad, really. I mean, they're going to, when time he has a kickabout, he'll be age 101. And he'll be dealing with a terrible teen. He'll be 105. That might be quite tricky, but good luck to him anyway.
It might be, what time do you call this? I mean, the thing is, Bernie at that age will be up. When his teenage son's coming in at sort of 17, 18 years old from a night out, Bernie would have been up for about 2 hours already. So that's the way I'll be working. I just want to congratulate Chris Kamara, old mate Chris Kamara, on his 10th anniversary. It's a fantastic one. 10th anniversary for Chris Kamara. That's the 10th anniversary of him missing that red card at the Portsmouth-Blackburn game at Fratton Park. I mean, a career changer, you'd have to say. It's probably one of the most famous football clips of the last decade. And
yeah, it's true.
It's 10 years ago today. Cammy has just been Soccer AM tweeted it out, and it's still a very funny clip. It still works.
We must try and catch up with. We haven't spoken to Cammy, have we? We must try and catch up with him and see how he's going. I thought I was irascible, but till I heard the Duke of Edinburgh on a Test Match Special have decided to open up their archives for the last 40 years and publish the thing that they call View from a Boundary. They do on a Saturday. Oh, yeah, very good. And they interview. It's very good. But they had one from 1987 with Duke of Edinburgh and Brian Johnson. I feel sorry for John, as absolutely every single question he asked Prince Philip, he contradicted. So he said, I understand you've been the second man to be president of the MCC for twice. And he said, no, I'm not. And I think you'll find there are other people. And he said, no, he's not. And they started almost arguing about it.
Oh,
and
no.
he just said, and he says, you opened the new stand at Lord's. And he went, no, I didn't. I launched it. I didn't open it. You think, oh, for goodness sake, give the bloke a chance.
He's always struck me, though, the Duke of Edinburgh, Andy, as quite affable and easy-going. I don't know about you. Yeah, I'm surprised you told me.
Unbelievable, really.
Yeah.
And but that was good. Last night I took the opportunity to watch Fantasy Football League with Eddie Large, late great Eddie Large, and he was terrific on it. Really, his football knowledge was excellent. I mean, it's funny how much it sort of holds up. Really, I mean, some of it's obviously dated, but some of it is, still works pretty well. And
you were in the clip that I watched. There was a clip, and you're standing next to Stato, and your voice comes out. Eddie's there, and you choose the game he's going to play. And the game that Eddie's going to play is against the Times' Alison Rudd, who we see there, a very young Alison Rudd from the Times.
I know, absolutely.
And with a load of Elvis impersonators. And there was that kind of show, if you haven't seen it, kids. And but no, I sure you're in vision, Eddie. I can certainly hear your voice.
No, it's my voice. Yeah, of course I did. I thought, I was listening to it and I thought, that voice sounds familiar. And then I played it again. Of course it was me. Like you can imagine, I've forgotten everything. But I found out that Motti's, we'll mention this to him, Motti's team was called Oak Lodge Albion, named after his house. I don't know if he still lives in the same house.
Wow.
And, he was bottom of the table, which is a bit unfortunate, really. But there you go. There was one moment in it that was fantastic, though. It was David's ode to Matt Le Tissier. It was a plea to Terry Venables to pick Matt Le Tissier for the 96, Euros. And it's just done in such a moving way. And even Frank, they come back and said, I've got a tear in my eye. It was David loved Matt Le Tissier, just loved the way he played. But it's interesting because the programme had a lot more of the fantasy football element in it than I remembered. And I now remember why I decided that we ought to get rid of it, because it wasn't that interesting, really. But it was fun to watch.
Trick that Matthew Harding, the late Matthew Harding, played on David. They were at a game and Matthew Harding was sitting behind David at the game, and just before kickoff he put his hand on his shoulder and whispered in his ear, "I've bought Matt Le Tissier." And Dave was bursting, the old bottom lip was going. And then about 5 minutes later, he tapped him on the shoulder again, and he was holding up the Corinthian figure of Matt Le Tissier. So I know he was always a big fan. So anyway, coming up this afternoon, the Premier League chairman are meeting, as Ross was telling you earlier on. They've got so much to discuss. It's probably the most important. It's a virtual meeting. Obviously, it's being done on Zoom or whatever. And they are talking about some pretty weighty subjects. We'll look at the things that are coming up, and maybe one or two people on the naughty step. Daniel Levy, for example, will be chatting about that. And recent acts of generosity from Premier League players. This was always going to happen at some point. It's just the way it's effectively been handled from above. We'll be chatting about that. We've got the Grand National tomorrow. That is a virtual Grand National. It's a great idea, with the proceeds from the bookies going to charity. Matt Chapman, MC Yeehaw from ITV Racing, will join us to tell us what to expect. We'll have a bit of Ian Dunter reading Steve Bruce's murder mystery. We'll have the clips of the week for you. We'll be in Belgium now the dust has settled, 24 hours after they decided to call a day on their league. One of the Belgian football fans saying. We'll try and get a steer on that from journalist Christophe Terreur. We are going to take you back to 1988. Bobby Gould joins us, the manager of Wimbledon, with Don Howe that day. The fantastic job they did to win the 1988 FA Cup. Your memories of that, where you watched it, how you watched it, who you're rooting for, etc., etc. We want to hear from you this afternoon. We'll give